Hi everyone, welcome back to English Fluency Teacher Channel, your space to learn and grow your English skills. Today, I'm so excited to share a fun story with you about my trip to Florida. Not only will this story take you on an adventure, but it's also a great way to improve your English listening skills. Listening to stories like this is such a powerful tool for learning, and if you want to challenge yourself, try shadowing. That means repeating my sentences after you hear them. This practice will help you sound more fluent and confident when you speak English. You'll hear about the amazing places I visited and some unforgettable moments I had. Listening to this story will help you learn new words and phrases, while shadowing can make you sound even more fluent in English. Also, if there are any mistakes in the sentences of this video, then let me know in the comments. Are you ready to join me on this amazing trip and build your English skills along the way? Let's get started. There's something magical about summer in Florida. The moment I stepped off the plane, I could feel the warm breeze and the bright sunshine on my face. It was the kind of weather that makes you want to grab an ice-cold drink and head straight to the beach. I had been looking forward to this trip for weeks, and now that I was finally here, I couldn't wait to experience everything Florida had to offer. Florida is a place that promises adventure at every turn. From its world-famous theme parks to its stunning natural beauty, there's something here for everyone. I knew this trip would be one to remember, and I was ready to make the most of every single moment. The excitement bubbled inside me as I thought about all the incredible destinations I would visit. My first stop was Orlando, the heart of Florida's theme park magic. I had dreamed of seeing Walt Disney World and Universal Studios for years, and now it was finally happening. I couldn't wait to ride the roller coasters, watch dazzling shows, and savor the delicious treats. Next on my list was Miami, a city bursting with life. With its golden beaches, lively streets, and colorful art, it felt like a whole new world to explore. I was especially excited to visit South Beach and try some authentic Cuban food in Little Havana. After that, I planned to escape into nature at the Everglades National Park. I had heard so much about its mysterious swamps and unique wildlife. Just the thought of spotting an alligator in the wild gave me goosebumps. Riding an airboat through the wetlands was going to be an adventure I'd never forget. Finally, I couldn't wait to see the Florida Keys. These islands are famous for their crystal clear waters, vibrant coral reefs, and breathtaking sunsets. I imagined myself snorkeling in the ocean, watching dolphins play, and relaxing with the sound of gentle waves. Every part of this trip promised something unique and exciting. This wasn't just a vacation. It was an unforgettable adventure full of laughter, discovery, and pure joy. I was ready to soak it all in, and I couldn't wait to share every moment of it with you. Orlando was the first stop on my unforgettable trip to Florida, and I couldn't have chosen a better place to begin the adventure. The excitement was already building as I stepped into Walt Disney World, a place where every corner feels like a fairy tale come true. From the moment I walked down Main Street, surrounded by cheerful music and the sight of Cinderella's castle in the distance, I was swept into a magical world. I started my day with thrilling rides, like Space Mountain and Splash Mountain. Each ride was more exciting than the last, leaving me laughing and catching my breath. But it wasn't just the rides that made Walt Disney World so special. The shows were dazzling, filled with characters I loved from my childhood, and the food was pure delight. I couldn't get enough of the Mickey-shaped ice cream bars. At night, the sky lit up with spectacular fireworks that seemed to dance in the air along with the music. It was the perfect way to end the day, and I didn't want the magic to stop. The adventure continued at Universal Studios, where I discovered an entirely different kind of excitement. The rides here were thrilling and full of surprises. I loved the adrenaline rush of the Hollywood Rip Ride rocket coaster and the heart-pounding moments of the Transformers 3D ride. The highlight, though, was stepping into Harry Potter World. Walking through Diagon Alley and sipping on a frothy butterbeer felt like I had stepped into the pages of a book. The Hogwarts Castle tour was simply breathtaking, packed with details that any fan would cherish. Beyond the theme parks, Orlando had more fun in store. A visit to Madame Tussauds was a blast, where I got to take pictures with incredibly lifelike wax figures of celebrities and historical icons. Each figure looked so real, it was like they were about to start a conversation with me. Nearby, I rode the Icon Orlando, an enormous observation wheel that gave me a breathtaking view of the city. Seeing Orlando from that height, with its shining lights and sprawling attractions, was both peaceful and awe-inspiring. Orlando was an incredible start to my trip. It was a city filled with magic, adventure, and unforgettable memories. Every moment here felt larger than life, and it left me eager to see what my next stop in Florida would bring. After an exciting time in Orlando, it was time to head to Miami, and even the drive there was an adventure. The sun was shining brightly, and the road was lined with beautiful palm trees swaying gently in the breeze. The scenic views of Florida's coast made the trip feel like a preview of the fun that was waiting for me. Miami welcomed me with its lively atmosphere and endless sunshine. My first stop was South Beach, where I couldn't resist jumping into the clear turquoise water. The waves were gentle, making it perfect for swimming, and the golden sand was warm beneath my feet. After some time relaxing under a colorful umbrella, I decided to try paddleboarding for the first time. Balancing on the board was tricky at first, but soon I was gliding across the calm water like a pro. It was such a peaceful and fun way to enjoy the beach. Later, I took a walk through Wynwood Walls, Miami's open-air museum filled with stunning murals and street art. Every wall was like a masterpiece, bursting with bright colors and creative designs. It was inspiring to see the incredible talent of the artists on display. I spent hours wandering the area, snapping photos of my favorite murals, and soaking in the artistic energy of the place. No visit to Miami would be complete without a trip to Little Havana, the city's vibrant Cuban neighborhood. Here, the streets were filled with Latin music, and the smell of delicious food came from every corner. I stopped at a small local cafe and ordered a classic Cuban sandwich. The flavors of the roasted pork, ham, and pickles pressed between crispy bread were out of this world. To finish off the meal, I had a cup of Cuban coffee, strong, sweet, and full of bold flavor. It was the perfect way to immerse myself in the local culture. Miami had a charm all its own, with its mix of relaxation, art, and flavors that I'll never forget. The city's vibrant spirit and warm hospitality made it a highlight of the trip, and it left me feeling even more excited for the adventures ahead. Third stop, Everglades National Park. After the excitement of Orlando and the vibrant energy of Miami, it was time for a change of pace. At Everglades National Park, I found myself surrounded by nature as far as the eye could see. This vast, peaceful wilderness was like stepping into another world. The adventure started with an airboat tour through the wetlands. The boat glided across the water, cutting through thick patches of grass, while the warm breeze brushed against my face. Our guide was friendly and full of fascinating facts about the Everglades. As we moved deeper into the swamps, we began to spot wildlife. I held my breath in awe as we passed an alligator resting near the water's edge. I also saw turtles sunbathing on logs and colorful birds darting through the air. It felt like I was in a real-life nature documentary. While the sights were unforgettable, I also loved learning about the ecosystem during the tour. The guide talked about how all the different plants and animals are interconnected, and I gained a new appreciation for how unique this environment is. There was a magical stillness in the Everglades, broken only by the hum of insects or the occasional call of a bird. It was the kind of quiet that lets you truly connect with nature. The airboat ride was exciting, but my day at the Everglades wasn't complete without a canoe adventure. Paddling through the calm waterways gave me an up-close look at the beauty of the park. I carefully navigated the narrow channels, marveling at the towering trees and vivid green plants around me. Every now and then, I'd hear a splash in the water, and I'd look up, hoping to spot another hidden creature. It was peaceful and thrilling all at once, knowing I was sharing this space with some of Florida's most amazing wildlife. Exploring Everglades National Park was a refreshing break from the hustle of city life. It was a chance to slow down, appreciate the wonder of nature, and create memories that will stay with me forever. Fourth stop, Florida Keys. The final stop of my Florida adventure took me to the stunning Florida Keys, and the journey itself was unforgettable. Driving along the famous overseas highway felt like gliding over an endless stretch of turquoise water. The road connected the islands like a thread of magic, and every turn offered breathtaking views of the shimmering ocean. Along the way, I made a stop at Isla Morada, one of the charming islands in the Keys. Here, I discovered the freshest seafood I've ever tasted. Sitting at a small waterfront restaurant, I enjoyed dishes like grilled shrimp and fish tacos. The flavors were incredible, and the sight of fishing boats bobbing gently in the distance added to the relaxed island vibe. The adventure continued near Key Largo, where I spent an afternoon snorkeling at a coral reef. Once I dove into the clear, warm water, it felt like entering an underwater paradise. The reef was bursting with life, from colorful fish darting between the coral to shy sea turtles gliding gracefully by. Watching the vibrant underwater world up close was an experience I'll always treasure. Finally, I reached Key West, nestled at the very end of the Keys. Right away, I could feel how unique and relaxed this place was. The streets were lined with pastel-colored houses, and the pace of life seemed slower and more peaceful. I spent my time exploring the island, soaking in its charm, and enjoying the salty breeze. My visit to the Keys ended with the most magical moment of the trip, watching the sunset in Key West. Standing at Mallory Square with other visitors, I saw the sun dip slowly below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange, pink, and purple. It was a peaceful, almost otherworldly moment, as if time itself had paused. The Florida Keys were the perfect ending to my adventure. From the scenic drive to the incredible marine life and the unforgettable sunsets, this part of the trip reminded me of the beauty and calm that nature can bring. It was truly the cherry on top of an amazing experience. Florida had even more surprises waiting for me beyond the main stops on my trip. Each of these adventures added its own special touch to an already amazing experience. First, I visited Clearwater on the Gulf Coast, known for its incredibly soft, white, sandy beaches. The gentle waves of the Gulf were perfect for a relaxing swim, and I spent hours just soaking up the sun and listening to the soothing sound of the water. The highlight of my time here, though, was a dolphin watching tour. Sitting on the boat as we cruised along the sparkling blue ocean, I felt pure excitement every time a dolphin leapt gracefully out of the water. It was such a thrill to see these amazing creatures up close in their natural habitat. Next, I stopped at the Kennedy Space Center, where I stepped into the fascinating world of space exploration. Walking through the exhibits, I learned about astronauts' incredible journeys and the history of space travel. The best moment was standing in front of a real rocket. Its sheer size and the thought of how far it had traveled left me absolutely speechless. The interactive exhibits made the experience even better, and I left feeling inspired by the possibilities of what lies beyond our planet. Another memorable stop was the Jacksonville Zoo. This wasn't just any zoo. It was a vibrant, interactive park where animals seemed closer than I'd expected. I saw giraffes munching on leaves, playful monkeys swinging from branches, and majestic big cats lounging in the shade. One of my favorite parts was feeding the lorikeets. The colorful birds would land right on my hand as I offered them nectar, making it a fun and unforgettable moment. Finally, I spent some peaceful time relaxing in Cape Canaveral. The historical coastline had its own quiet charm, with golden sand dunes and calm waves stretching out for miles. I took a walk along the beach, enjoying the salty breeze and watching pelicans glide across the horizon. It was the perfect spot to unwind and reflect on all the adventures I had during my trip. These additional stops added even more variety and excitement to my Florida adventure. From the beauty of Clearwater to the wonders of space and the wildlife encounters, each moment left me with memories I'll cherish forever. When I think about my trip to Florida, many moments stand out in my mind. These moments were fun, exciting, and unforgettable. One of the best parts was visiting Harry Potter's Diagon Alley at Universal Studios. It felt like I had walked into a storybook. The streets were made of cobblestones, and there were magical shops all around me. The buildings and details were so real that I almost believed I was in a wizarding world. Standing in front of Gringotts Bank, with the dragon on top, was so exciting. It made me feel like anything was possible. Another great memory was exploring the streets of Little Havana. This neighborhood was full of life and color. I could hear the sound of conga drums, smell the rich aroma of fresh Cuban coffee, and see beautiful street art. There were people chatting, laughing, and dancing, and everything felt very cheerful. I also tried some tasty Cuban pastries and watched a live band play salsa music. The energy of Little Havana was amazing. I also had a thrilling experience in Everglades National Park. While riding an airboat through the wetlands, I saw an alligator for the first time. It was lying near the shore, quiet, but powerful. Its scaly skin and sharp eyes made it look like a creature from ancient times. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Seeing an alligator in the wild was an unforgettable moment. Snorkeling near Key Largo was another highlight of my trip. The water was so clear, and when I looked underwater, it was like a whole new world. Brightly colored fish swam all around me, and the coral was so vibrant. The best part was seeing a sea turtle swim gracefully through the water. Everything was peaceful and beautiful, and it felt like I had discovered a hidden treasure. These moments made my Florida trip truly special. Each experience was different, but they all gave me memories that I will always treasure. My trip to Florida was not just about fun. It was also a great chance to learn and grow. One of the best things about the trip was meeting friendly locals. They were always happy to give me tips about places to visit, like hidden beaches or restaurants with the best food. Their kindness made me feel welcome, and their advice helped me see parts of Florida I might have missed otherwise. Traveling is more than just visiting new places. It's also a way to understand different cultures, try new food, and see the beauty of nature. I loved learning about Cuban traditions in Little Havana, tasting seafood in the Florida Keys, and exploring the amazing wildlife in the Everglades. Each moment taught me something new and made me appreciate how big and diverse the world is. This trip also gave me the chance to practice speaking English with different people. Whether I was chatting with a tour guide, ordering food, or asking for directions, every conversation helped me improve my confidence. It wasn't always easy, but every time someone smiled and understood what I was saying, I felt proud and motivated to keep trying. Florida taught me that travel is about more than just taking pictures or visiting famous spots. It's about connecting with people, discovering new things, and learning more about yourself. These lessons are something I will always carry with me. My trip to Florida was full of amazing and unique experiences. Each part of the adventure brought something special. The theme parks, like Universal Studios, were full of magic and excitement. Walking through places like Diagon Alley made me feel like I was in another world. At the same time, the beaches offered peace and natural beauty. Watching the sunset at Clearwater Beach and snorkeling in Key Largo were moments I will never forget. Florida also surprised me with its incredible wildlife. Seeing an alligator in the wild during an Everglades tour was thrilling, and swimming alongside colorful fish and a sea turtle was like exploring a hidden paradise. The lively streets of Little Havana, with Cuban music, delicious food, and happy smiles, showed me how diverse and vibrant cultures can be. I believe Florida is a place everyone should visit at least once. It has something for everyone, whether you love adventure, relaxing by the ocean, or discovering new foods and traditions. Traveling is more than just visiting places. It's a way to learn about the world and yourself. Each new experience, each new conversation teaches you something valuable. If you're looking for a destination that will fill your heart with joy and your mind with unforgettable memories, Florida is the perfect choice. Pack your bags, explore its wonders, and create your own incredible story. When planning a trip to Florida, it's important to think about the costs. With good budgeting and planning, you can enjoy an amazing trip without spending too much money. One of the main costs is activities. Tickets for theme parks like Universal Studios or the Kennedy Space Center can be expensive, but they are worth the experience. If you plan ahead and buy tickets online, you might find discounts. Some activities, like spending time on Florida's beautiful beaches, are free. Clearwater Beach, for example, offers soft sand and stunning sunsets without costing a dime. Food is another important part of your budget. Florida has restaurants for every price range. You can try fresh seafood or Cuban food at small, local places for a lower cost compared to big and fancy restaurants. Grocery stores and local markets are also great options if you want to save money by preparing your own meals. Transportation is something else to consider. Renting a car is very convenient, but it can add to your costs. Gas, parking fees, and rental car prices should be part of your budget. If you stay in a city like Miami or Tampa, you can use public transportation or even ride a bike to save money. Planning ahead is one of the best ways to keep your trip affordable. Look for deals on flights and accommodation and to book early to get the best prices. You can also set a daily budget for spending to keep track of your money. While some parts of the trip can be pricey, there are always ways to save. Free activities like snorkeling in shallow waters or walking through local neighborhoods can be just as enjoyable as expensive tours. With good planning, you can make the most of your trip to Florida without breaking the bank. Thank you for listening to this story about a trip to Florida. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful for improving your English listening skills. Did you notice any new words or phrases? Try to remember them and use them in sentences of your own. Now, why don't you practice by sharing your own travel stories? Where have you been, or where would you like to go? You can speak or write about it in English to make your skills even stronger. Remember, learning English can be enjoyable, especially when you do it through stories. Every story is not just a lesson in language, but also a way to learn about the world. Keep listening, keep practicing, and you'll get better every day. Great job today, and I'll see you next time. Keep up the good work.